On a Sunday afternoon in summer, where would you rather be than out in a parking lot tailgating, grilling some meats? It's the Pirates and the Brewers here from Miller Park in Milwaukee. And welcome into the booth. Joe Block along with John Wayner with you here this afternoon. And the way that the Pirates have played here in Milwaukee, maybe that's not as fun for them the way that the games have shaken out here in recent years.
House of horrors. I mean, we've been saying it for years. The last 80 games here at Miller Park, the Pirates have only won 17. 63-17 the Brewers are. You look at the last 8 games against a poor Brewers team. And they have just literally outplayed the Pirates in every way possible. You go from batting average, runs per game, home runs per game. They've outstolen the bases in Pirates. I mean, it's just been really a difficult place for the Pirates to play. They play them well at home at PNC, almost 20 games over since the Brewers have been coming to PNC. But in this ballpark, it's just been a nightmare.
Yeah, yesterday some base running things that were starting to cause some problems. And, the Brewers have played spoilers against these Pirates in recent years here. But Francisco Liriano pitching very well his last time against the Brewers. Can he keep this going here this afternoon? 13 strikeouts and no walks his last time around. And he will get the nod here today as we got the Pirates and the Brewers from Milwaukee. Series, Pirates and the Brewers here this afternoon. And we're hoping to see a little bit of what Francisco Liriano did 10 days ago against this very same Brewers team.
I think you look at Liriano, when he's good, he's really good. And you watch this package here, these pitches that start in the strike zone, break off the strike zone. That's when he's at his best. None of these pitches are anywhere near the heart of the plate. They're on the edges, they're dipping out, whether it be the changeup or the slider. Even the fastball at times he could command and work it off the plate to on the plate. He was just outstanding. The no walks, the big thing there, along with the 13 punch-outs. He was great.
And his mound opposition that day, like it is today, Matt Garza, who didn't fare as well.
Boy, is he having a miserable season, and he's getting hit every one of his pitches. His fastball hitting well over 300, his curveball over 400. His slider was probably his best pitch. They're still hitting that about 270. 5 or so, and you know, he's just trying to figure it out. It's just not working. A career against the Pirates, not very good. 2-4, 4.61 ERA in 10 starts. So expect some runs today from this Pirates bunch.
And normally you would see Jonathan Lucroy doing the catching. He's not in the lineup, but he is here today with the trade deadline tomorrow. He vetoed a trade with Cleveland, but he's at least in a Brewers uniform for now, with the deadline coming tomorrow afternoon. And let's go out back to the studio. Dan Potash with a game break. Trying to avoid a sweep here as the Brewers have taken the first 2 games of this weekend set. And Felipe Rivero on the left, number 73, new Pirate. And already some cool handshake setup coming over from the Nationals in the Mark Melancon deal. All right, now this is how we do it. We take the hats off. Okay. They got to learn, right?
Yep.
He's got too much hair to be in that bullpen, too.
Say, yeah, he needs to shave it.
Beautiful afternoon here in Milwaukee, too. And a look at the RAV4 lineup for the Pirates. Trent Hurdle has John Jaso atop the order with Gregory Blanco batting second. That average over 300 in the last 8 games with some good power. Andrew McCutchen, Starling Marte to follow with David Freese over at third today. Harrison, Mercer, Eric Fryer doing the catching for Francisco Liriano.
Garza, the veteran right-hander. Another miserable season for Garza. Just 8 starts, 1-4, 5.74 ERA. League, the opponents hitting .316 against them. Just 24 punch-outs, 42 1/3 innings, and that's after a 6-14, 5.63 ERA last year.
And the defense behind Mr. Garza today, there's Kirk Neuenhuis, homered yesterday. He's out in right field. This is brought to you by Honda. Jake Elmore and Keon Broxton also joining him in the outfield with Perez, Villar, Jeanette, and Carter around the horn. Martin Maldonado doing the catching again today with all the trade rumors floating around Jonathan Lucroy. He's still a Brewer today. He nixed that deal with Cleveland as he has a partial no trade clause. And we'll see if he's wearing that hat by the end of the afternoon. John Jaso back in the leadoff spot today. Got those sunglasses on. Bright sunshiny afternoon. And out into the shadows. Keon Broxton. One-time Pirate.
Missed that one, did John Jaso. Just underneath it. Now for your Rivers Casino tips to win. Go deep. Buccos in this little ballpark. You normally see a couple of 3 home runs a game here, hoping to get the long ball back in play. And after last night's game, you hope for some more fundamentally sound game. Play a little more mistake-free, both on defense and on the bases.
Well, the one man who has hit a home run in this series for the Pirates, Gregory Polanco. Yeah, usually you'd expect some high-scoring games. Brewers have been pitching well lately. An ERA in the low 2s on this homestand. This is game number 10 for Milwaukee. Starling Marte. A couple of hits yesterday, a couple of hits in the opener as well. Also subject of that inning that we saw was so promising, it seemed, yesterday. Stalled with just the 1 run, and the Pirates didn't get much of an opportunity after that with that pretty good Brewer pitching.
Yeah, and yeah, their starting pitching has been an issue. Middle relief also. The back end of the bullpen, though, is pretty strong. So if you give the Brewers a lead late, it's going to be tough to come back against them.
A rare home run given up by Will Smith to Polanco yesterday. And now he's in a favorable count, 3-1. Nice weather here in Milwaukee. 75 degrees and abundant sunshine. He'll take the walk. Pirates will have a base runner here in the first.
Garza not wanting to give in there to Polanco. Tried to make a perfect pitch down and away from the big lefty.
Now McCutchen hitting at .241. 15 home runs. That leads the ball club. There's the shift on him. Not as pronounced as yesterday. With the runner Polanco at first. Might try to run. Not able to cover the bag if needed. Was that a violation of your tips to win for today?
What's that?
Sofield is not mistake free right there. Look at,
he doesn't.
He'd tell you he should have made that play.
Most of the time the coaches just let it go by, and just for that reason. They don't want to look bad about dropping a ball. I know when I was coaching, I never tried to catch him. I just let him go.
Yeah. You of the 99 errorless games in a row didn't try to go after all of them?
Never. No. Very few, if any.
Especially if the fan has a chance down the line.
Well, yeah.
Definitely want to let them go by.
Yeah.
Here, not so much, because on the third base side, the tarp's down there. Can't reach over.
Well, certainly at PNC Park, you don't need the help from the base coaches. The ball girls are excellent. Strike in there. Now 1-2.
Andrew didn't like it.
Good career numbers against Garza. He has homered against him. Garza a lot of time in the division with the Cubs. Brief stint with the Rangers and then coming over to the Brewers. They're their richest free agent signing of all time. $50 million deal. And he's got his first strikeout.
Curveball that was on the outside corner on the previous pitch. Then he decides to run one up and into Andrew. And that's a pitch that you rarely see Andrew McCutchen swing at.
Two gone in. The Pirates first with Polanco aboard at first. On that sunny day, Marte will wear the shades too. Fourth in the league in batting average now, .323. Ball and a strike. David Freese in the lineup today. He got ejected from the ball game yesterday. Marty Foster was working the plate. Marty now over at the third base. And this one. That one goes, and Perez able to throw at Marte. So the walk spoiled. Now Milwaukee will come to bat here in the first. Pirates turn to side in the top half. Brewers will get their chance. Wonder if Francisco Liriano will replicate what he did 10 days ago. This is who he will face today. Lineup for the Brewers and Jonathan Villar having that great season with Elmore to follow. Perez in that 3 spot. Braun still out. Lucroy still out. And Kirk Neuenhuis. 5 homers in his last 8 games, including one last night.
Francisco Liriano. His Hyundai numbers 6-10, a 5.38 ERA, and for the Pirates these last couple of months, and still in this pennant race, or at least
a wild card race, and I think it's very important for this man, Francisco Liriano, to pitch great down the stretch.
I couldn't agree with you more. And now, does he have to do what he did against the Brewers 10 days ago all the time? No. But what he did in his last start, he's got to be able to limit that. Giving up 7 runs in 3 1/3.
Liriano last year, he went through stretches, especially early in the year, where he just didn't give up any hits. I mean, he'd go 6, give up 3, go 7, give up 4, go 6, give up 2. I mean, it was almost like the entire first 2 months of the season. Overall, he only allowed 155 hits and 186 and 2/3 innings last year. And this year, just about a hit per inning, 109, and 108 and 2/3.
And we know walks are going to be part of his game.
Yeah, and it's always has been.
So when the hits are up, means you're working with a lot of base runners. He's got an out right there. Getting VR, that's always a good start. National League leader in steals. Marte right behind him. And he of the National League leading 12 outfield assists out there in left field, with Eric Fryer doing the catching today. Marte with McCutchen and Polanco in the outfield. Freese, Mercer, Harrison, Jaso working around the diamond. Here's Elmore. Liriano with the walks, so we come to expect that. He's leading baseball the most walks. And really, it's been even for Liriano, an exceptionally high number, because if you look back at all, walks per 9 innings, so you normalize it by how many innings you pitched. His is the highest rate for any starter that qualifies for the ERA title since Matt Clement, Butler's own, 16 years ago.
Yeah, and the walks are up this year. Right? He's only has 4 fewer walks than he walked all last year.
That's a nice fastball on the inner part of the plate. The foul tip.
And the strikeout rate isn't much different than a year ago. That's strikeout 110. The fastball in on the hands. It's off the plate. Got the offer.
But I'm with you, Rock. If Liriano gets back to a more consistent form like he had last year, well, then now you're talking with Cole, the way that he's been pitching. Tyone has been pitching great. Ray Searage trying to get this outfit in order, and we're told now that Locke and Vogelsong will start against the Braves in the next series. Is Stephen Brault optioned today? Not that Brault won't be back. We might see Glasnow again. We might see Chad Kuhl again as the Pirates continue to shuffle. More consistent starting pitching, and it's gotten a tick better lately, but so that has been the one thing all year that really, okay, once you get this going, well, we're at game 103. When is it when is it going to be consistent? And that's why Neil Huntington's still looking out there with the trade deadline tomorrow. Ryan Vogelsong is scheduled to start against the Braves coming up. Should be activated on Thursday. Tyone with that nice outing along there with Glasnow, who threw a light bullpen session today.
The offense has had its struggles as well, and you got some key pieces that really have been inconsistent and have struggled. That could be hidden, and you don't have to, if you have strong starting pitching, the offense can struggle and you can still win ball games. But if you're struggling offensively and you're struggling on the pitching mound, you're in trouble.
And Perez continues to hit Pirate pitching. He's 10 for 21 this year against the Pirates.
It's almost like every time you throw him a fastball, he hits it hard somewhere. And this fastball, he wanted it away cut too much of the plate, 95 miles per hour. It's another one hard.
I'm just saying, who is this guy? He was a pretty good prospect in the minor leagues. Detroit cut him free, waiver claim last year. He's 25. Brewers hope to see him as part of their future plans. There's Chris Carter. Big slugger with 23 home runs, but also leads the league in strikeouts. Liriano trying to work around that 2-out single. Glenn Hurdle has pointed out with Liriano too, you know, trying to get him consistent out of the stretch when there are runners on base. Liriano has been a much different pitcher than when he has worked out of the windup. And how do you get to be consistent that way? Because you're going to have men on sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're perfect, at least every game, you're going to pitch from the stretch, and you know, I'm sure he's been working hard on the side and probably throwing his side sessions mostly out of the stretch to try to be a little more consistent.
I'm convinced that was a big part of his success 10 days ago against the Brewers. You know, it kind of steamrolled. You know, you leave a couple of, you know, you're not allowed, you know, the stuff's good. You're not allowing base runners. Now, as the game goes on, you know, he only worked to 2 batters with a runner aboard until his 7th and final inning. And that 13 strikeout, no walk affair. Perez runs, pitches a ball, and the throw away from Harrison. Perez going to be waved home here, and he is going to be safe. Scoring from first base on an attempted steal.
This ball sails on Eric Fryer. It gets away from him. Jay Hayes can't keep it in the infield. McCutchen has to come all the way in from center because where Polanco was deep in right field and makes a decent throw. Fryer can't come up with it, but even if Fryer does come up with it, I'm not sure you could throw him out.
Eddie Cedar, the third base coach, was waving him the whole way. Single, a stolen base, throwing error on Fryer. It's a 2-base error that allows Perez to score. And now Chris Carter draws a walk. And so the Pirates down a run, and you call this a house of horrors. I mean, you just don't see this very often.
Situation where it doesn't happen. I don't know if I ever remember seeing this actually, where a ball gets away from the second baseman and goes to the outfield, and the runner can come all the way home. I mean, you know, the ball was towards right center, not directly in the center, which made it a farther run for Andrew McCutchen. But it's also a heads-up play by Perez that he was going hard. You know, he got up and was saw where that ball went and turned it up a notch. And again, even if Fryer comes up with that throw, I'm not sure he tags him out.
Now, that's something we don't think about in baseball too. Is you know, the guys that are involved in the play, the guys who aren't, generally there's somebody backing up on every attempted throw. Catcher runs down to first, for instance. Back up first base. Hook foul.
Now, there's always somewhere where you could be doing something other than standing there, as far as you know, for instance, if there's a ball that's hit down the right field line, you know, and it's a double, well, the left fielder's going to come over and back up either second or maybe even third base, depending on, you know, the situation. You know, on a steal attempt, you should always, when you see the catcher coming up throwing, the center fielder should always be moving in case of that instance where the ball gets away.
So a rare 2-base Miscue that permits a run. I guess it would have scored anyway after that base hit. Jeanette with a 10-game hitting streak now, and 3 straight men reaching with 2 outs.
Yes, that base hit most likely will make that run earned. Good approach there. Jeanette hitting lefties much better this year than years past.
Trying to settle down Liriano here. Now they're sitting. It's a 24-pitch inning. Runs across. Bend but don't break, right? Okay, runs come in. Wasn't really expected. Single run's not going to kill you, but the inning starts to get bigger and it can cause some problems. That's trouble here with this series. The Pirates have played from behind from the get-go. 2-run home run in the first inning on Friday. 2-run home run in the first inning yesterday. Brewers with another first inning run here today. Good stop by Fryer on ball 1. Maldonado, the Brewers' backup catcher, getting the start for the 2nd straight day. He's 3 for 20 with runners in scoring position. A little bit of pop every now and then. He's ahead of the count, 2-0 now. Now Liriano, when he's working from the windup, he's about 2.5 strikeouts per walk, so a really nice ratio there. When he's working out of the stretch, meaning with runners on base, he's even. As many walks as strikeouts. So it gives you an idea of the command out of the stretches has not been there.
For a veteran pitcher, you would never expect that. Maybe for somebody that's younger, I don't know. I mean, he's been around the block so often, and he's put up some good years, good numbers, and you know, to win games and to be successful at the big league level, you have to make pitches out of the stretch. You have to get the big outs with runners in scoring position, and you know, those are what you see typically out of the better pitchers in baseball. Or you know, everybody gives up their hits and walks, but the better pitchers pitch well out of the stretch when there's trouble.
And he's walked another. 2 walks in the inning. 4 straight Brewers reaching with 2 outs. And still, you can keep this a 1-run game here in the first inning if you can get a lefty in Neuenhuis, who has hit with some power lately but does not hit lefties very well. Well, we've only seen 6 batters, Rock, but are the Brewers doing anything differently against Liriano than when they struck out 13 times a couple weeks ago?
I can't sit here and say this early that it's the Brewers or if it's Francisco Liriano. You know,
a lot of pitches up.
A lot of pitches out of the zone. I know that.
It seemed like when he was missing against the Brewers, as he, you know, his signature offerings that were low in the zone or beneath the zone. A lot of stuff seems to be up so far.
And you can go back.
And that one's low, and he gets a swing and a miss on it.
To the Perez at bat, and we're talking about command in the zone. He got a bad swing and miss against Perez to get ahead in the count, 1 and 2, and then he throws him a fastball middle of the plate that led to this. The base hit came off a fastball with 2 strikes.
Now he gets ahead 1 and 2. If the base is loaded.
And in that particular pitch that Perez hit into left field, Cervelli was off the plate away. It was meant to be a ball. It ended up being a strike, and it led to 4 straight reaching. Fryer, by the way, not Cervelli.
It's a strikeout on Neuenhuis. And the Brewers get a run, but they strand the bases loaded. 1-0 Milwaukee.
Look at some of the Hall of Famers to come from the Milwaukee Brewers, including Jackie Robinson. I'm Robbie and Smikowski. Some baseball fans may not make it to Cooperstown to see the Baseball Hall of Fame, but for baseball fans, it can come to them in the form of the Baseball Hall of Fame Tour. It's a state-of-the-art traveling baseball experience. It has some fantastic artifacts in it, including Bill Mazeroski's helmet from Game 7 of the 1960 World Series, the walk-off home run, and David Freese's jersey from Game 6 of 2011. The walk-off home run that he hit, that's actually the back of that jersey, and also the T206 Honus Wagner baseball card, which is on display in the form of jelly beans at PNC Park on the second level. A lot of cool stuff. The cool thing about the David Freese jersey, Joe and John, is that is the back of the jersey. Nick Punto, as he came home, who was affectionately known as the Shredder, tore the jersey apart. The other half of the jersey, the front half, lives at the Cardinals Baseball Hall of Fame Museum in Ballpark Village. And get this, the tour leaves today for Kansas City, where it'll stay for 2 weeks. Then it goes to Busch Stadium. So I'm wondering if they'll marry the two together, maybe get another photo op of the, the full jersey. We'll see how that goes.
That's a great report, Robbie. Yeah, I didn't realize that the jersey had been separated. David Freese, of course, some memorable moments in that particular World Series. He's had some clutch hits for the Pirates. That's neat that they do that. Not everybody can get to Cooperstown, New York. And in fact, I still have never been, which is to my great regret. That will be happening soon.
Me neither. Never been.
Maybe we can go.
I missed the bus. But I think it's a place everybody should go to, and I will eventually, God willing.
Get the kids out. Great place to see that exhibit.
Back in my first year in the New York Penn League, we played in Oneonta, New York, which I guess is close. And so there was a bus or van or something that took a lot of the players there. I didn't get a wake-up call.
David Freese will start the second with a base hit. They called everybody's room but yours and missed out on that chance.
Yeah,
I hate hearing that.
Yeah, me and
you were that close.
Who my roommate was. I think it was Bloss Minor, former Pirate reliever. I think we were together and we both missed the bus.
Well, I hate to hear that, but
I was
disappointed. An opportunity.
I was disappointed. I couldn't believe it.
I guess that's what, about a 7-hour drive or so from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, most.
Yeah, not bad.
I know Bob won. I think Bob won just in the last handful of years or so over the All-Star break.
Josh Harrison. And there's somebody immortalized Ford Frick Award recipient Bob Uecker, my old radio partner here with the Brewers. I guess I was his partner. Shouldn't put it that way. That's his famous home run call. And yeah, the Ford Frick Award recipients, they honor all the great broadcasters. They have a writer's wing as well. All the scribes who have told the stories of this great game. And so really, really neat to see all the different exhibits and stuff. There's this front row statue from all those great Miller Lite commercials. That's in the very worst seats here at Miller Park. You barely see the action. One of two statues here at Miller Park for you. Another one is outside of Miller Park. They've got several bronze statues here. Yeah, that is where the front row statue is. And if you don't know what we're talking about, Google Bob Uecker front row. You'll see the commercial back in the day. 3-1 on Harrison.
A couple close pitches. Garza frustrated the curveball to make it 2-1.
Well, there's Ueck's statue outside of Miller Park.
Looking buff.
Yeah, he's already served 60 years now. So not able to track that one down. So one away. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Yeah, those were some great commercials back in the 1980s. Uecker was always the guy that got picked on.
Yeah.
And got a buddy there today.
Very fond of Bob Uecker, that young fan.
Strike it there to Jordy Mercer. Having a nice July. That average up to 282 with a 325 clip here in July. Maldonado prevents any advance from Freese there.
Almost got an assist from Jordy Mercer. Freese, it's one of those things where if you break right away, he probably would have made it, but the ball didn't trickle too far away, so he decided to stay there. But Maldonado had to get around Jordy Mercer. Took him a little while.
Freese has not attempted a steal this year, and Garza almost never will throw over, so just trying to keep Freese from getting that big lead. Maldonado's the guy that helps negate anything with those throwing hiccups from Garza. Garza has an interesting, a lot of interesting quirks, in fact. But one of them, watch when he comes to set. See how he fans his glove like that? He does it every time. There's one, and that'll be all they get.
Which would lead me to believe it's legal if he does it all the time.
So 2 away with Mercer aboard, and it's a Saturday night block party. Food and live music out on Federal Street coming up on Saturday against the Reds at 7:05. You got the Line and Kugel Bar. Live music out on Federal Street. Plus everyone wins on an Eaton Park scratch and win Saturday. So go to pirates.com, get your tickets. I like that guy's shirt. here for the beer.
Although he looks empty-handed.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's enjoying responsibly. Spacing. Now this is a fun place. You know, years and years ago, of course, all the breweries that popped up, and of course the home of Miller here. And there are big parking lots here where, you know, it's not in the midst of downtown. There's lots of room to spread out, and that's as much a part of going to the game as going to the game. Well, the lots open up early, and you know, especially on a day like today, 75, sunny, perfect.
You never roll up here and not see tailgaters.
And having known from experience, a lot of people here will brew their own beer. The people take great pride in cased meats and the art of grilling them. This is a big thing here. Cheeses are also a big part of the tailgates here. Now even 2-2.
Cheese curds.
That is a fine treat.
Never heard of them until
really
a few years ago. Enjoyed a serving of cheese curds.
Did they squeak when you ate them?
Don't recall.
If they're fresh, they squeak. 3-2. All right, trying to get something going here in the second. Down a run. Liriano is next, a 300 hitter, so a little different in that 8 spot for Fryer with Liriano next. Now this is a fun place before and after the game, and the game itself is too. They draw well here, even in the midst of a down season. Still not a bad crowd here today. Yeah, the Brewers have pretty much been in 4th place all year. They've taken the first 2 games of the series. Pirates trying to get out of here with a win. Garza makes a big pitch. It's the strikeout, and it remains 1-0 Milwaukee.
John, a couple seconds ago, talking about the food and the drink and the tailgating. How about this? The Brewers have teamed up with a local company to set up ice machines to make it convenient for fans to keep everything cold during the hot months in their tailgating. That's right, a 24-hour self-serve ice machine. There are 6 of them spaced out all throughout the parking lots. Now, you do have to pay for both the ice and the convenience. $5 for a 10-pound bag, but hey, Joe and John, sometimes, as you could probably attest, you'd pay almost anything to stay cool here in the hottest 2 months of the season. Pretty cool. Vending machines for ice as you're tailgating. How convenient is that?
It is cool, yes. That's new. I didn't know that they had those. Thanks, Robbie. Yeah, that's, you know, it's a big thing here, and a fun way to be able to have that convenience. A lot of folks that intend on making it into the game and sometimes never get in. 2-0 on Keon Broxton to start this second inning. Mariano needed 33 pitches to navigate that first. Gets out of here, and Keon Broxton with a leadoff home run. He has really seemed dedicated to showing his old club that traded him away that they shouldn't have.
He was having a tough time of it here in Milwaukee until this weekend.
135 coming into this series.
Fastball elevated out over the plate and showing pretty good power. And straight away, that's impressive.
Third extra base hit of this series. Now he's 4 for 7. And he's been on base 6 out of 9 times. And McCutchen kind of fooled us all, thinking he might have had a shot at that one. Statcast tells us that went 410 feet. Or would have if there were no stands, right? And it fell to the ground. To be scientifically correct.
Yeah. Well struck.
It's a little surprising because you think of Broxton as being a speed guy. You know, he stole 39 bases last year with Altoona and Indy, but he did hit 10 home runs. And hit 8 with Colorado Springs. He's been down there most of the year. Pirates traded he and Trey Supak to the Brewers for Jason Rogers last December. You only had 2 ball clubs, Rock, but when you were with the Marlins, did you always, you know, when you play the Pirates, you say, all right, I want to really get it.
I just, no, I think you should play the game the same against whomever you're playing against. I mean, I don't know how you can turn that up or down. I mean, you should be motivated. You're in the big leagues. You should be motivated to play every inning of every game, whether it be in spring training or the major, big league game or a postseason game. I mean,
no extra juice, nothing.
No, I had max juice, the natural kind. Just look at the back of my card. You know there was no artificial juice.
Pulp free. And Garza thrown out. First out of the inning. You know, it was last night was 90s night here, and I was thinking that, you know, we would have a higher offensive game because of 90s night. Ended up being 5-3. It picked up toward the end. But
playing here, it's amazing that they're not all high-scoring games. We talked about it a little bit last night. Fast infield, short dimensions, ball carries.
Jamison Tyone settled down after maybe the first 3-4 hitters really started to get that fastball command going yesterday. And for the Brewers, Chase Anderson, at least that first time around in the order, he was pretty dominant. Struck out 5. Tyone continues to show that good command, but ended up getting a loss. 2 runs in 6 innings.
Yeah, and you think about it, and it wasn't a bad pitch. The 2 runs he gave up, the 2-run homer to Perez, and It was a good location. It was, it was up and in. I think that's where he wanted to put it. Perez just put a good swing on it.
Like that, no walks again. Yeah, you're telling me yesterday the walk numbers with Indy included were something close to 9 or 10 to 1 in terms of strikeouts to walks, and that's extraordinary.
I think 11 walks in over like almost 110 innings. So he's like 1 walk every 10 innings in that neighborhood.
Hope to see Tyler Glasnow back soon on the disabled list. To Tyone's left. And Liriano gets his 3rd strikeout. I'll look at our Allegheny Health Network injury update, and Glasnow doing some throwing again today as he continues to try to work his way back with that right shoulder discomfort that kept him out of the start a week ago, and did throw lightly in the bullpen today, about 15 pitches off the mound. And if he progresses, it could be back sooner rather than later. That deflected off of the ushers beer box. The vendor, I should say.
Yeah, got him with the box.
Ham it up. That was nice. It's coming right at him, and he just stuck his chest out, the beer chest. Great shot.
Yeah,
way to get that. That's cool.
Protecting the fans.
Now 1 and 2 on Elmore. Hey, now you got to buy something from him. Come on. He just saved you. One, 2 from Liriano. Strike 3 call. Elmore not in favor, but he doesn't get a vote. So it's 2-0 Milwaukee as we go to the 3rd.
Brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, Health for All, and by Day Automotive. We're gonna make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Brewers with single tallies in the first 2 innings, and the lead 2-0 as they have in each game of this series. They've scored the first 2. Pirates trying to get a game here this afternoon. Keon Broxton, the leadoff home run, his 2nd. And on this sunshiny day, he's got the sunglasses on the hat. Put him on. Right? You look up in the sky, you're going to need them.
Maybe not. But you don't need them on your hat if you don't need them on your face. I mean, leave them in the dugout or wear them, I guess. I don't understand why you have them on your hat. Although that's kind of the cool thing to do nowadays.
Get off my lawn.
This is a tough place. You know, the one thing about this ballpark that I really don't like is the way they have the roof. And you know, here we are in the middle of the afternoon, 2 o'clock Central Time, and you already have shadows creeping across the infield. Eventually, it'll make it more difficult for the hitter to see once the shadow gets beyond the pitcher.
And then usually, I guess this time of year, maybe 3 o'clock local time or so, you know, 6th, 7th, 8th inning, light from the windows then come out over the plate, and it's not bright sunshine, but it can make things a little awkward.
If you know, when the shadows creep more across the infield, it's tough to see because the ball's darker coming out of the shadows when you're playing defense. Sometimes it's a little difficult to pick up the ball off the bat.
Those are the outfield panels that allow some breeze to come in. Yeah, the way that the ballpark is directed, the sun comes from over, say, up the first base line. And so all that is going to be in sunshine as the afternoon continues. They tried partially closing the roof in years past to try to lessen the effect a little bit, but there's really nothing you can do. All you're going to do is create more shadows earlier in the day. Outfield's still in bright sunshine.
It would make it easier for the hitter if you had the shadow across the infield.
And that was the idea, was to try to start the game like that. But then it was already, you know, then the shadows would encompass the field, and then people, of course, you know, here it's cold. It's cold for a long part of the year. And so, you know, you come out on a 75-degree day, you want to sit in a little sunshine, or you want to feel like you're outdoors and kind of have it cooped up a little bit. Yeah, you need that sun. Believe me, I know. Make sure you wear some sunscreen. So battling here.
Unfortunately, the day I signed with the Pittsburgh Pirates in June of 1988, that was my introduction as the newest Pirate. I was at Three Rivers Stadium, shirtless. And they showed me up on the screen.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, what a Carrick move that was.
Wait a minute. So you had just signed, and you know they treat you to the game kind of thing, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah. So we went to the ballpark. It was a Sunday afternoon, or I went Sunday morning, and we discussed things. It was just myself, my mom, and my brother, and decided. You know, Sid Thrift said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to play baseball." So I signed, and so they showed us around, walked around, and went out. Sat behind home plate. Beautiful sunshiny day. And yeah, I sat there with my brother, shirtless, with an alcoholic beverage when they showed us on camera. And I was only 20, which was again not a very good impression.
You can't make this up.
I was about 3 weeks short of my 21st birthday.
You know, details.
Very embarrassing.
Could you imagine that in today's age with social media and everything, like everyone's politically correct? My goodness, that's funny. That's
that was bad.
Here's our newest Pirate. Welcome in. Well, hey,
that's what it said on the board.
Yeah.
Pirates.
Well, you fit right in. That's why we've loved you all this time, right? You're a real guy.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
That was first of many embarrassing things.
All cleaned up now, looking spiffy.
Yeah.
Huh?
Back to the game.
I would love to find that video. Hey, there's the newest Pirate, Felipe Rivero, wearing clothing, drinking water. Not as fun. Coming over in that deal that sent Mark Melancon to the Nationals. He's reported today as well. And Brewers all set to trade their longtime catcher Jonathan Lucroy to Cleveland, but he had a partial no trade clause and nixed the deal. So he's still with the Brewers at the moment. Hammering that curveball to right. This one's out of here. Polanco homering for the second straight game, his 15th, and the Pirates on the board 2-1 now.
And I couldn't help but think about Bob Uecker as that ball on the line. You could tell Polanco didn't get all of it, but just saying to myself, get up, get up, get out of here.
Gone.
And just enough of it. That short porch out there originally when this stadium was built, the wall was further back. They brought it in, but there you see a little bit off the end of the bat, kind of a one-handed swing. But the Polanco, even looking that effortless, enough strength to reach the seats.
Well, that pretty follow-through. 15th home run, tied with Andrew McCutchen for the club lead. That gets one back. That's Bob Uecker's famous home run call. Get up, get up, get out of here. Gone. Indeed. He does it way better.
Yeah.
McCutchen a strikeout victim back in the first. So Garza has been touched. A 2-out home run. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Maldonado back behind the plate after little shades of Tony Pena.
Yeah.
Back behind the plate with that leg stuck out a minute ago. Let's see if he does it again. And no, that time more of a standard crouch. Puts it down on strikes. Pirates on the board thanks to Gregory Polanco's 15th home run of the year. Automotive. This day in Pirates history 4 years ago, A.J. Burnett throwing a gem against the Cubs, taking a no-hitter into the 8th. Adrian Cardenas with the single to break it up. And Burnett still finishing with that complete game 1-hitter, struck out 8. Pirates went on to win 5-0. Neil Walker driving in all 5 of those runs.
Who got the hit?
Cardenas. I said Cardenas, which is the, if you said it the Spanish language way, but I forgot that it was not pronounced that way. One-time Cub. I messed up.
No, I don't remember.
He pronounced it Cardenas.
I don't remember him.
Yeah. Perez beats it out. He can just do whatever he wants against the Pirates.
Yeah, hit the ball out of the ballpark, then turn around and have a bunt base hit.
Scores from first on a stolen base attempt to second. Oh. Well, Clint Hurdle might want to challenge. We'll see. Look at the Allegheny Health Network Supermo here. It's in the back of the glove. Now you see the base move. And that looks challengeable.
50-50.
Dave Joust.
Dave Joust.
Oh. And they're giving Clint Hurdle a lot of leash here to do it. And they're not going to challenge this leadoff bunt single.
From this angle, it looks like the ball's in the glove.
No, I could see because his fingers are skimming the bag. Yeah, is there anything that can overturn it? Maybe not. Was he out? Probably. Is there anything to overturn it? Probably not. So Perez now hitting .500 in 22 at bats against the Pirates this year. There's always that guy every year.
Yep.
Chris Carter drew a walk back of the first. Liriano's got to work with a man aboard. Jameson Taillon, of course, had the line drive by Perez off of the back of his head. Turned out he was okay and continued. Perez running again. Fryer won't throw this time. A couple of steals for Hernan Perez. Now with 18.
You see going, looked like on first move. He's ready to go into that head first slide and realized that there would be no play, so not a lot Eric Fryer could do with that one.
Three 3-0 on Chris Carter. Mariano walked a pair in the first, got out of a bases loaded jam with just the 1 run. Keon Broxton homering in the second. Polanco answered with a long ball of his own in the third. He's walked Carter again. So 2 men on here with nobody out. Polanco, after hitting that home run, some tweets, Point Park tweets. Some strong coffee, Jeff says. Our coffee clearing the deck, young Doug. And Ben giving the weather forecast for some hot coffee. I wouldn't mind a cup myself right now. All Liriano's got to do is turn 3 right here. And a base hit. Perez going to be held. This is full of Brewers again, but this time with nobody out. So that 2 for 2 today.
And not a bad pitch. In on the hands, broke the bat. full swing, and the ball barely went 200 feet. A little surprised, actually, Ed Cedar held up Perez at third. It's, he had you see there, he's around the bag. That ball's not even to Polanco yet. I know there's no out, so you're going to be a little more cautious. But, yeah, I think Perez scores easily if waved.
There's Maldonado. There's one. Maldonado doesn't run well, so they'll double him up. Perez will trot in. No run batted in. And that's a good trade. You'll take 2 outs for the run. It's 3-1 Milwaukee.
Limited to 1.
Nice job by Liriano to get the ground ball.
Pretty remarkable, though, that here we are in first day of August, or is this still July? Last day of July. Liriano, now that was his 75th run allowed. Matches last year's total. In 70 some odd innings. 70 some odd fewer innings.
Frank Council is going to challenge this play right here. We'll see here. Is it the neighborhood play at second? Mike Winters, the crew chief, will listen to New York. Yeah, how did this feed come about? Let's look. Mercer and Harrison. Mercer feeding Harrison at the bag at second. And remember the play this year, you got it. You have to tag the bag. Was his foot behind the bag or was it on the bag? I can't tell there.
Oh yeah,
he's
that's
right on the bag.
That's a bad challenge. That's
if that, and then Jaso's there. Yeah, that's easily confirmed. Now, unless there's something that we are not seeing, but I can't think of anything that Craig Counsell might have. Yeah, they are challenging it at second base, so I think it's pretty clear cut. Yeah, you can see him put his foot right on the pillow, and then he steps on it a second time. Yeah, so call. Find out if it's confirmed. His video people. There's Pat Murphy, the bench coach. Yeah, the call is confirmed. Whoever the video folks are, they may have given Pat Murphy some bad information right there. So Brewers out of challenges here. I wonder if that will come to pass here later. Yeah, that was unusual.
Yeah, that was one of the worst we've seen.
The managers have to trust the video people. See if Liriano can get Neuenhuis again. He struck him out last time. And then that's the thing, is the managers are at the mercy of the people that they have looking at the video. They relay the message usually to the bench coach. Bench coach tells the manager yay or nay. And talking with Clint Hurdle about that last week, he says he likes that system. He says he doesn't want it to be a bang bang decision where the manager just has to look at the play and immediately challenge it. He likes that the video people can survey it because we're getting a chance to look at a second, third, fourth replay. Why can't the teams get that before they get the opportunity to challenge it out? The Brewers did get that opportunity to look at it, and they still chose to appeal.
Yeah, who knows what they were looking at down there, but that was a waste of a challenge for sure.
Yeah, we'll see if it matters. Liriano fanning Neuenhuis last time around. See if we can do that with Carter at third. Brewers with single runs in each of the first 3 innings. They have had 8 base runners against Liriano. when Liriano, this is my estimation, I'll see what you think, Rocco, but when Liriano's missed, it's been off the plate or up rather than missing down for the most part, which I thought he did a lot of against the Brewers 10 days ago. If he missed down low in the zone and got swings and misses.
We showed the package at the open of Liriano's last start against the Brewers. He started the pitches in the strike zone. They broke out of the strike zone. If a major league hitter doesn't see the pitch in the strike zone, they're not going to swing.
Soft ground ball. Liriano will keep it to a single run, but the Brewers add another and lead 3-1 through 3 here in Milwaukee. Sunday, August 7th is the Kids Day at PNC Park, and the Bucks take on the Reds at 1:35. All kids 14 and younger get these Starling Marte wall decals presented by No. 1 Cochrane. Go to Pirates.com, get your tickets. Marte in 3D to lead it off. On our UPMC scoreboard, Milwaukee leading 3-1. Trying to add to that 6-game hitting streak. Bounced out his first trip against Garza. There's Maldonado with the Tony Pena look again. There's a base hit for Marte. So a 7-game hitting streak and speedy leadoff man aboard.
Marte has just swinging the bat so well all year. Very consistent. Looking more and more locked into me, though, the last several days. I mean, the ball he hit the other night off the umpire, Mike Winters, Friday night. It was like a split down and away. Stayed on it. Hit it right on the button, up the middle. Drove one into the right center gap. Had a breaking ball. Went with it up the middle.
Marte with 36 steals. Not going on the first one. Trails only Jonathan Villar, the Brewers shortstop, with a couple of more at the moment. Robbie was telling us back on Friday those two are longtime friends too, so this has been a fun thing to try to rack up that stolen base total. Villar's gotten the better of him so far in this series. There'll be a race there and the double play.
Yeah, a little surprising with Marte staying put. A couple base running mistakes last night from Marte. A guy like Garza doesn't throw over to first, can afford to take a bigger lead. He's probably average to the plate. He's not real slow, but he's not super quick.
Yeah, so you don't want to have a guy like Marte not be aggressive, but you want him to be smart and aggressive, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So there is a balance. Yeah, you can't shut Marte down. The Pirates, I would imagine, wouldn't even suggest something like that. But maybe a little bit more conservative after what he did yesterday.
Well, a lot of it's decision making. I mean, last night was decision making. He was thinking of going first or third on the base hit the left, thinking there was going to be a play at the plate, and they got him there. The decision trying to steal third with one out when he didn't get a very good jump, and he went from standing still. That wasn't a great decision.
And a quick inning for Matt Garza, despite the leadoff hit. It remains 3-1 Brewers.
It's time for the Toyota RAV4th inning. The all-wheel drive RAV Hybrid has performance that will make you rethink hybrid. Let's go Bucks!
Nice afternoon here in Milwaukee, but the Brewers leading 3-1. Keon Broxton part of that after his home run to lead off the second inning. Made you want to Snapchat it. If you're a Brewers fan. Yeah, laying down a bunt there, but showing some good power. Back to that big fly in the second. Hit 10 in the minors for the Pirates last year. And after that off-season deal, hitting his second for the Brewers. And Liriano makes quick work of him this time around.
That's the good slider. We were talking about it in the bottom of the third about Liriano and the command. This pitch out of the hand looks like a strike to Broxton. And then you see the late break that breaks down and in. And that's where he was the last time he faced these Brewers. He threw pitches that looked like strikes and broke out of the zone for balls.
Well, everyone keeps asking, what is it with Liriano? Because we've seen what he's capable not only in past seasons, but we've seen just 10 days ago what he's capable of. Is it just inconsistency?
Command and movement. You know, if you can't throw strikes, you don't have command, you don't have the same movement, there will be inconsistencies.
And Garza .085 career hitter. Ryan Vogelsong get nod in Game 3 of that Atlanta series on Thursday. Scheduled to come off the DL. Weak dribbler. The second out. Look at our Barrel Automotive league leaders in outfield assists in the National League, and Starling Marte registering his 12th yesterday. Marte, who led the National League in outfield assists last year, doing the same again here today. 16 last year.
Might pass that up, on pace to pass it up.
That's a big number. As teams, you know, as you get a reputation for having a good arm, being a Gold Glover as Marte is, the teams still will run on him on occasion. Villar runs well, but Liriano recovers nicely to get that out. Well done by Liriano, registering his first 1-2-3 inning. His first scoreless inning of the afternoon as well, and keeps this one at 3-1.
The newest Pirates reliever who will take over seventh inning duties as Mark Melanson has moved on to the Washington Nationals. Well, Rivero said last year one of his lifetime goals was to walk across the Clemente Bridge in Pittsburgh, and when he came with the Washington Nationals, he did it. And earlier today, he explained why.
Because I was waiting for that, and since I started playing baseball, I was like watching TV, and one day I wanna walk on that bridge and get to see the statue and everything. And last year I made my dream come true.
And that was the first thing he said when he stood out in his meeting, Rock and Block, with the writers, was that he was able to walk across that bridge. Now, he's from Venezuela. He's not from Puerto Rico, but grew up, like many other young baseball players, idolizing Roberto Clemente. So who knows? Maybe if he's staying at a hotel downtown, he'll be able to do it again before he plays a home game at PNC Park.
That's a really great thought. You know, you don't really think about what Clemente, the bridge, you know, signifying what he's meant to all ball players, people, humanitarians, especially those from Latin America, but the bridge being significant too.
Sure.
I know the first time I walked across it, I thought it was neat that, you know, not only it's named after a ball player, but someone of great significance, and the humanitarian that he was too. So, but Rivero having that feeling to another degree, that's neat. And there's a base hit. Jordy Mercer doesn't want that calendar to change. He's had a great July. And And Rivero sending out a tweet. Make sure you follow him. Point Park Tweets. And amazing how one day you're here and the next day there. But that's just life. You can't complain. Still doing what I love. Yeah, I'm sure, you know, mixed feelings for everybody that's traded. Mark Melanson was saying the same thing yesterday about how, you know, he was in the Pirates clubhouse talking with reporters yesterday. And, you know, at one point very sad to be leaving friends, teammates, but then also there's an excitement. He's joining a new team, and Rivero, I'm sure, very much the same feeling.
Yeah, that's a tough thing about baseball.
Could you imagine being relocated in your job just one day, just all of a sudden, new people, new, you know, same line of work, but new city, new coworkers, and literally no notice.
Have no say so. It's just, hey, we're shipping you off.
Yeah, you know, say you're a widget salesman and you're there in Wichita, and all of a sudden Tulsa needs you, and you're there the next day. What about family? What about a place to live or anything? Well, we'll put you up in a hotel, but now you're a widget salesman in Tulsa. Okay. Hello, Tulsa.
Yep.
Eric Fryer knows that drill better than most. It's part of the game that doesn't get thought of a whole lot unless you're the players themselves. He was with the Cardinals earlier this year. Wins up and down from AAA Rochester. And for Fryer, at this point in his career, finally getting, at least to this point, you know, most of a continuous big league season at the major league level. He'll turn 31 next month. After all those years in the minors, including with the Brewers for a time in the minor leagues, and very briefly with the Pirates earlier in his career. Now 3-2. But yeah, all that time up and down from AAA. I mean, that's another thing too. Is maybe you don't get traded, but called up, sent down. Love it when you get called up. Hate it when you get sent down. Kyle Lobstein's a great example of that this year with the Pirates.
A lot of back and forth, and
It was always bittersweet for me. As often as I had been sent down, I at least knew I was going to play every day, and then it's what I always want to do, to play baseball. Obviously, you want to be here at the ultimate level and play in the big leagues, but if you're in the big leagues and not playing, at least when you get sent down, you were going to play every day. And so, you know, after a few moments of disappointment, then you're like, hey, I get to do what I've always wanted to do, go play.
He plays on to first, and they threw it away. Mercer's going to scoot into third. Well, Eric Fryer runs better than your average catcher, having to make that more of a challenging play for Perez.
It made him rush to throw, and the air mails it. I thought it went into the stands. Apparently not. I guess it
hit right behind a security guard. Hit that sidewall. Look at that running right out the box. That's what causes those things to happen.
just 90 feet. No reason not to.
No easy task to get Liriano. Came into today a 300 hitter. Glenn Hurdle having a word with Mike Winters, crew chief and home plate umpire. Just making sure that the Fryer wasn't entitled to an extra base. Sure, that's a conversation. Did stay in the field, not go out of play at all. So first and third. Ruled that an error. Fryer almost would have beaten it out, but not quite. Liriano homering in his last start.
And not surprised at all that he's not bunting. I mean, he's handled the bat well enough to where, you know, you go up there and sacrifice. You just move. Well, you will move Fryer into scoring position, who represents the tying run. But you know, Liriano has a chance of driving the run home.
Fly ball could be enough here. And if he does kill the rally with the double play, that would push a run across with that infield back. It's the one bad thing about swinging away with a pitcher, but it could be just about anybody else. Liriano down on strikes for the first out. You can follow the Pirates live with the MLB.com at-bat app. You can stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. Jaso 0 for 2, battled an 8-pitch at-bat last time around. This one is a strike. One on Jaso.
You see there, neither one of those pitches in the strike zone. Garza getting a call on the first pitch. And Jaso helping Garza there. And one thing that I think is a bit noticeable as far as Garza this afternoon. There seems to be something about the fastball. It's got a little more life than the last time he faced the Pirates. It's got some movement, some jump to it. A little more sharpness in his breaking stuff as well this afternoon. Two-seamer there, a lot of movement.
And a bright backdrop. At least the mound now in shadows.
And the batter's eye is dark as well. No sun shining on it as of yet. So it shouldn't be too terribly tough to see.
Jaso has taken the sunglasses off. And that's going to get one there, but a run across. Sure is in. RBI fielder's choice, and Jaso makes it a 3-2 game.
Able to take advantage of the error and get one home.
Well, the Pirates, even though haven't really got nearly as much going as the Brewers have, it's a one-run game in the 5th. Perez has been pesky, scoring a pair of runs today. That error in the inning, hoping to prolong the frame and leading to a run. Blanco's been on both times today. He has walked and homered.
Not a bad pitch there.
Chase Anderson, last night's winning pitcher. 1 unearned run in 5 innings. Good enough for the W. Pirates trying to get out of here with one win in this series. Brewers winning the first two. They've won 8 straight times against the Pirates here at Miller Park. And while the overall series is kind of evened out in the last several years, still here in Milwaukee, it has been, as you put it, a house of horrors. Junior Guerra earning the victory in game 1 of this 3-game weekend set. Has Polanco done it again? It's a foul ball. Not quite enough.
Another breaking ball from Garza. That's what Polanco hit out of the ballpark his last time up.
There's this ball hit. That's a foul ball. Hard to see. We cannot see it from our angle, and Clint Hurdle, very difficult to see. Garza trying to tilt that ball foul. Yes. Clint Hurdle wanted to make sure for a moment. Why not? Mark Wagner down the line looks at things. 4 umpires during the regular year. They put umpires down the line in the postseason. Strike 3. Pirates grab a run thanks in part to an error. And now 3-2 Milwaukee.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Colorado and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Barrel. Visit Barrel.com to learn more about our 3 conveniently located collision centers. Let's go Bucks!
Bottom of the 5th. Milwaukee still with a 3-2 lead. Polanco called out on strikes by Mike Winters to end that inning. And did not like call. Winters, the veteran. And a very cordial discussion. And during the break, Clint Hurdle also having a word with Mike Winters. They don't always get it right, but some more than others. Mike Winters in his 27th season as a major league umpire. Elmore with Perez and then Carter to follow.
The Pirates don't like arguing balls and strikes, especially from those that are in the dugout.
That one hit Elmore in the foot. Right the toe.
Came up and caught Mike Winters in the mask.
Perez has gotten on twice. Swung away and got a single. Also bunted his way on. He's stolen a pair of bases today. He is 11 for 22 now this season against the Pirates, hitting .500. And he's got him leaning. Elmore is picked off. That's a break.
Yeah, we saw Perez steal a couple bases going on first movement, and I think that's what Jake Elmore tried to do. He was wanting to go on first movement. And this time the Pirates throw over. You see the tag applied well before the hand got to the bag. It always looks great when you're up against a lefty and you try to go on first movement. When you go first movement and there's no throw over, you're almost always going to be safe. There's nothing anybody could do about it. But you look foolish when you try to go on first movement and they throw over. And it could be frustrating as a manager, you know, when it becomes a guessing game. Instead of reading the pitcher's move, you just guessed, especially with nobody out. With 2 outs, 2 strikes, you guess and get caught, okay. But with nobody out, it's frustrating.
Now 2 outs and nobody on. Liriano, after getting that double play ball back in the third, been a different pitcher.
Seen that so often over the years with Liriano. Bouncing pitches. That ball looked like it bounced off the plate, and yet it gets the hot hitting Perez to chase.
Carter's worked a walk both times. 3 free passes issued. There's Ryan Braun. He's not played at all in this series. Has some right rib discomfort. What do they call it? They call it soreness. Starting to get lured into the Pirates' way of speaking with injuries. Well, it's probably still accurate enough. And it was in the starting lineup yesterday and then taken out. So the Pirates have caught a break. No Braun at all in this series to this point. Lucroy played on Friday but hasn't started because of the trade deadline. And the Brewers are going to add another run. Looking for a sweep of this series. 24th home run for Chris Carter.
Ball took off. That was like a tee shot in golf. Didn't hit it very high. Looked like the pitch, it is up out over the plate. Not a very hard swing. It just exploded. Fade. The fade to the right side of the fairway.
Estimated at 436 feet for Carter. And the Brewers open a 2-run advantage again. They've hit a pair of home runs today off Liriano. How do you win in Milwaukee? Hasn't been easy for the Pirates, let's say the least.
17 and 63 going back to 2007.
The last 10 seasons, including this one. What do you do? I don't know. That's basically, the Brewers are winning almost 80% of the time here. And it's not like they've always had great ball clubs. You know, there have been a couple of division winners in that time. Mariano rebounds to get Jeanette looking. Thank goodness for that pickoff that limits Carter's home run to a solo. Friday as the Bucks host the Reds. Friday at 7:05. Be one of the first 20,000 fans through the gates and receive a Pirates Stand Up to Cancer t-shirt presented by Allegheny Health Network. Get your tickets at pirates.com/free shirt Friday. On our UPMC scoreboard, the Brewers adding a run on that Chris Carter homer. Now 4-2. Pirates looking to take a lead at some point in this series. Corey Knebel, the new pitcher.
Knebel just his 10th appearance. 5.40 ERA, 12 punch-outs in 8 1/3 innings. Opponent's hitting .290 against him. Pretty hard thrower. Fastball, curveball, fastball a tick below 95.
Andrew McCutchen will start things. He struck out twice against Garza. Garza went 5. Gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. And Juan Nicasio hitting up for the Pirates. Here's Liriano at 91 pitches through his 5 innings.
See that second pitch, the bottom of the zone, right on the edge, perfect pitch. And it seems when you have you're a hitter that's struggling, those borderline pitches go against you. When you're locked in and swinging the bat well, it seems like you get every call.
Two. Balled strike 3. And McCutchen better watch it. Mike Winters is hurt an earful tonight. Pirates have had back-to-back batters called out on strikes. Brewers have had a couple of men called out on strikes today as well.
Some late movement on that fastball, and boy, there's definitely has to be some frustration there. That pitch way off the plate.
And McCutcheon has been very vocal about the strike zone. Not in this specific case with Mike Winters, but just in general, he feels like he has had a poor strike zone for him in particular this season. You think you've taken a good pitch? Yeah, it's frustrating. Now one day there'll be robots back there or whatever. Lights that signal ball and strike or whatever.
Hope not.
You still want it to be a human process?
Yep.
Well, I disagree. I think if we've got the technology in place, you still need someone to call safer out at home plate. Just put a couple of lights up, and pitch effect says it's a ball. Have them do that. Hey, they do a great job. They get 5 out of 6 right, or a little bit better than that. Maybe 6 out of 7 if you want to do the math. Better than I just did. If you and I try to do it, well, maybe not you, but if I try to do it, 1 out of 7 you might get right. So they do a fantastic job, but it's still far from perfect.
That's the way it's been for over 100 years. And I like it like that.
Well, baseball's changed a lot in recent years. We've got replay now. There's some major rule changes. Catchers don't block the plate. Down on strikes. Now let's go back to the studios. Dan Potash with a game break. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Danny. And their Volkswagen playoff picture as we look at the standings, not only in the NL Central, but also the wild card. And, we're used to thinking about, hey, what are the Cardinals and Cubs doing? But, you got to start paying attention to the Marlins and the Mets. Dodgers also in that wild card picture ahead of the Pirates. And the Rockies, it's not shown on the picture, but the Rockies right behind the Pirates as well, as they've been hard charging. So, need some wins. And you were talking about it yesterday, Rock. He said, if the club wins about, plays 600 ball, wins 60% of the games rest away, that might be what it'll take.
Get you to the high 80 range win-wise.
One swing from Freeze there. So if the Pirates say win 3 out of 5 games, 6 out of 10, the rest of the way.
They have to come back here 2 more times. I'm trying to have to find out a way to turn around things here at Miller Park. Swept the last 2 series here last year. Danger running out of outs in this one, down a couple.
Apologize for those of you that are not seeing our picture right now. We're having some video troubles. Continuing the audio transmission, and endeavoring our best to try to get you to see the pictures as quickly as possible. So, strike 3 call as Freeze caught looking to end the inning. Corey Knebel strikes out the side, and it's a 4-2 Brewers lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Famous racing sausages just racing here. There they are. Thanks for sticking with us during that momentary difficulty. Get the little mini sausages. Always the handoff there.
Hot dog crushed him.
A wonderful finish. There they are. Pirates going with a new pitcher, Liriano, going to be done for the afternoon here after 5 innings.
Hopefully Juan Nicasio can keep this a 2-run ball game.
We'll face Martin Maldonado.
6.501 ERA, 88 strikeouts, 82 2/3 innings.
Now it's even. Two catchers talking their crap. Maldonado with a base hit. Well, the Brewers have been setting Lucroy down the last couple of days in case he's been traded. And Maldonado's come up with a hit in both games.
Actually hit the slider, the good slider from Nicasio. That was the pitch that we talked so much about coming out of spring training. Good hard breaking slider that nobody seemed to be able to hit.
Neuenhuis was 0 for 2 against Liriano. Brewers getting single runs in the first 3 innings against Liriano. And then they home run by Carter in the 5th. Liriano went 5, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs all earned, walked 3, struck out 7. Gave up a pair of home runs. Keon Broxton also tagging. On the Pirates side of things, Polanco with a 2-out solo home run in the 3rd. Jaso with an RBI fielder's choice in the 5th. James Tyone. Two runs in 6 innings yesterday. Neuenhuis, how about him throwing out Tyone? Trying to get that first major league hit yesterday from right field.
That was perfectly placed by Tyone to Neuenhuis. One hopper, and you can kind of see it developing as soon as he hit it. And I figured Jameson probably thought, wow, finally got my first big league hit.
Threw it right by him.
Oh, my God.
Chris Stewart trying to get back in action soon. There's ball 4. And Nicasio doing a tough go of it to start. He's been really good since joining the bullpen in his 12 games, an ERA of 2.32 since becoming a full-time member of the relief corps. But here in a pickle.
This could be a stressful at bat here. Ed Cedar's going to come down and give instructions to Keon Broxton with the good speed of Broxton. If he's asked to bunt here, it'd be difficult. Situation where third baseman David Freese, if it's just a regular bunt play, he can't charge, and so Broxton's job, if he is to bunt, will be to bunt at the third. If he doesn't bunt at the third, you have a slow runner at second, so you have a chance to get the lead runner if he is indeed bunting.
And there's the bunt, and a good one. And Jay getting back up quickly as he's shaken up. Needed to get that ball in with Maldonado coming down third, but he is really shooken up, as is Broxton. Harrison could not get out of the way, covering the bag with that throw from Freese. And both had athletic trainers out. Oh, and there's some knee contact there.
Always scary.
Broxton is up, and the two knowing each other from Broxton's Pirates days. That was a nice classy gesture by Broxton. Both known for their legs too. Tomczyk out there with manager Clint Hurdle. He is standing still, and Broxton's running right at him. And Harrison knew he had to get that ball in, with Maldonado maybe trying to score on that. But tremendous wherewithal despite all that pain. And that throw took him up the line.
Looks like something with the right leg of Josh Harrison, and just hope it's not too serious.
Shows a slight limp, but walking under his own power there. That's good. Harrison's all out all the time. He made sure to get the out. He made sure to save the run. And we'll see if Harrison will end up continuing. He goes down as a sacrifice 5-4, moving the runners up. And now Adam Frazier is going to be coming in. So he's out, and Max Moroff was called up today. Adam Frazier will be in at second base, and Clint Hurdle was saying, we want to have Moroff here who can play a lot of positions so that we can use Frazier more, but I don't think, of course, he was hoping in this way.
No, and well, again, hopefully Jay Hay will be all right. Broxton dodged the bullet. I've been involved in a couple of those at first base, once as a base runner, once as a first baseman, and for whatever reason, it's always the runner. It seems like it gets the worst of it, at least in my case, both times.
Andy Wilkins pinch hitting here. If they ran into you, I think that's who got the worst of it.
No, not like I said, it was the runner. I was running the one time, and yeah, I felt like I got hit with a truck, and then I was playing first and got run over, and it nothing. But the runner had to come out of the game. Joe Oliver.
A catcher. Infielders in with second and third. 2-run game here in the 6th.
Hope to keep it there. Hard to score late in ball games.
Maldonado with a single. Neuenhuis then walked, and Carlos Torres getting up in the Milwaukee bullpen now after Knebel struck out the side in the 6th. 4-2 Brewers. And now 2-2 on the pinch hitter Wilkins, guy who has bounced around most of his career in AAA. Did have a cup of coffee with the White Sox a couple of years ago. Has some power down in AAA. And ball 3.
We're close with the last couple of pitches, and we've seen the wide strike zone called by the crew chief and home plate umpire Mike Winters. And you would think once you get ahead, why not try to expose it? Just set up 4-6 inches off the plate. You're getting the call. Try to get a call, but those last 2 fastballs nowhere close.
Struck him out. Foul tip on 3-2. That's a big second out by Juan Nicasio.
That was the one. Yeah, it's off the plate. Wilkins trying to protect. Comes up empty. That's about how far the pitch was off the plate when Andrew McCutchen was called for a 3rd strike last half inning. So now the infield can back up, at least everywhere but David Freese at 3rd.
We are 0 for 3. Maldonado, the lead runner, does not run well. And Neuenhuis some decent wheels at second. 4-2 Brewers in the 6th. Pirates trying to eke out one game of this series. They haven't led for a moment. They have trailed at the end of every inning in this series. Jared Hughes getting up. I mean, it hasn't been tied at the end of the 1st inning.
Yep.
.96 from Nicasio. That the kind of pitch you were talking about?
Sure.
Location wise?
I also like the fact that Nicasio, turning it up a notch. We saw him in this series throwing 93, 94, but now we're starting to see the 95, 96. Getting some chases. Not that one. That one too far off.
Now sometimes if you throw it a little harder, maybe you lose your command a little bit.
I guess it depends on who you are.
Yeah. Maldonado at 3rd. Neuenhuis on at 2nd. Now 2 away. Trying to keep this a 2-run deficit in the 6th. Fouled it off his foot. Another guy who makes his living with his legs.
Looked like it hit the top of that right foot.
Had some protection there, but they're not going to wear those big, thick shin guards, the guys that can run. Looked like more of a softer version of it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And 3-2. Where was that one relative to some of the strikes that have been called today? I don't think it was a strike, but we've seen that, I think, called a strike today, right?
That one's a little further off. I mean, that really wasn't close.
Comes back and gets him. And Nicasio strands 2 in scoring position with a pair of big strikeouts to end the inning. Back in the second inning, Keon Broxton, the one-time Pirate, with a leadoff home run, gave the Brewers a 2-0 lead. And the Pirates having the deficit next half inning. Gregory Polanco homering for the second straight game. Number 15 made it 2-1, and then later on, Chris Carter, one of baseball's best power men, broke up a nice streak by Liriano there, and extending the Brewers' advantage. It's 4-2. Broxton with a big series against his old club. 4 hits, 3 extra base hits. And the Brewers have led in every inning of this series. Time to change that. Got some time left.
See if they can do some damage against Carlos Torres. 2-1 at 2.84 ERA. He's allowed 5 home runs in 50 2/3 innings. 50 strikeouts. Lots of cutters. Fastball, cutter, curveball.
Adam Frazier is in the game because Josh Harrison colliding with Broxton on a sacrifice attempt in that 6th inning. So Broxton running full speed, of course. Harrison going over to cover first base on the bunt. Harrison walked off the field under his own power, but a little bit of a limp. Frazier strikes out. So the Brewers bullpen has come on. They have fanned all 4 hitters they faced after Knebel, now Torres.
Not putting a lot of balls in play in the last 7 batters. Only John Jaso able to put a ball in play.
Jordy Mercer singled in the 5th. One of 4 Pirates hits. It's not like this team has a poor offense by any means. The Pirates in the top half among teams in scoring runs in baseball, and even in the month of July they've been at worst an average offense. If you like batting average, if you like runs scored per game, whatever you want to go by. But here in this series, the Brewers pitching has been hot. ERA in the low 2s in his homestand. Jeff Branson's got to be scratching his head. He scored 10 runs against the Mariners back on Wednesday. Seemed like they were just getting hot. Cooled off here in Wisconsin. It's the shortstop saying, "Excuse me."
It has to be frustrating for the Pirate hitters because this is one of the great ballparks to hit it. Fast infield, friendly dimensions. And you're against a pitching staff that has struggled, especially the last 2 starters. Garza today, Anderson last night.
Eric Fryer 0 for 2, reached on an error. He broke his bat on that one. Not a lot of hard contact. So another 1-2-3 inning, time to stretch, and Felipe Rivero on for the Pirates.
And by Levin Furniture, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Juan Nicasio is going to stay in. Second inning of relief, 4-2 Milwaukee as we start the bottom of the 7th inning. And with Rivero warming earlier, some of our tweets that we got, Dan welcoming Felipe to the Steel City. And Mick with another welcome as well. Looking forward to seeing him, and the Clemente Bridge story, a great story told by Robbie and Kate, welcoming him to the Berg. Rivero, a young left-handed pitcher, hard thrower, and one of 2 players acquired, 2 lefties. For Mark Melanson, who will be a free agent at year's end.
I see him next to him. Bottom of the 8th, perhaps. Pitcher spot was on deck, so if the Pirates had a base runner, we may have seen Rivero.
Jeanette, a lefty batter, due up 4th in this inning, so that makes sense. And Neuenhuis due up 6th. That would be the 2 guys you'd think they'd bring on Rivero for. Elmore 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts, facing Nicasio for the first time. It's just been a confusing weekend. Well, I don't think anybody thinks that the Brewers are going to lay down and give you a bunch of games, but there hasn't been anything to point to. And I think on Friday, when you look at what Guerra did, you can say, well, Guerra pitched really well for the Brewers in that start. But since then, it's been a little confounding. What is going on here? Chase Anderson was all right, I guess. Very effective. Garza was effective today, but
it's like that any given day, and it just seems like on any given day that the Pirates are at Miller Park, they're in trouble. Anderson, I thought, looked pretty good the first time through the lineup last night, and then was starting to self-destruct in the 4th. The Pirates with some base running blunders helped them get out of it. And so the Brewers able to get 5 out of him. Garza today, I thought Garza threw the ball much better today than he did against Pittsburgh at PNC Park. And I think Craig Counsell was happy to get 5 out of him. But the Pirates offensively just have struggled. Too many guys struggling at the same time.
Which we have not said very often.
No. Because I don't care who's pitching. If you have an offense and you have 5 or 6 or 7 guys swinging the bat well, you're going to scratch together some hits and runs and do some damage. But when you have 5 or 6 guys struggling at the same time, it's hard to mount much on offense.
Yeah, the Pirates for the month of July, middle of the pack, not far from their season numbers, maybe a tick down. But in this series, yeah, it's been, if they've had an opportunity, it hadn't been much. They got 8 hits yesterday, 4 in the opener, 4 here today. Spread around those 8 hits yesterday. Cervelli getting the Sunday day game off. Perez might have chased that one. 3-2. Nicasio was in some trouble in the 6th, made some big pitches, struck out the final 2 men he faced. He has struck out 4 in a row now. And let's look at our Nissan road ahead, and the Pirates announcing their starters for their final series at Turner Field. Garrett Cole, then Jeff Locke, and Ryan Vogelsong scheduled to come off the disabled list on Thursday. So Locke, who had been pitching out of the bullpen a little bit, his role undefined, will get another try. And Stephen Brault was optioned today. Talking with Clint Hurdle about Brault. Didn't exactly say that he's going to get another start, but kind of talked in the way that he will make another start at some point without committing to that. So my gut keeps telling me that the Pirates are going to keep mixing and matching with the guys that they've got. Chad Kuhl is healthy and ready to go. He's going to start for Indy coming up. Tyler Glasnow maybe coming off the DL soon. There's Locke on the right. New closer Tony Watson. Garrett Cole. And of course all that could change depending on what happens between now and 4 o'clock tomorrow, and that is the trading deadline.
Always an exciting time in baseball, probably more so than any other sport when you get down near the trading deadline.
Don't really hear a lot of trades in football. Basketball's trading deadline, it's usually complementary players. Hockey's probably the only one that would rival baseball in terms of, a chance for a blockbuster or a key piece to move at midseason.
I just hope we're not disappointed as we await. Probably what is it, about this time tomorrow?
Yeah, I like what Neil Huntington said today on his radio show. I have to tell you next inning. Juan Nicasio struck out 5 men in a row, fanning the side here in the 7th. Pirates need some runs down.
On Tuesday, amongst his rehab, he'll stop and take your questions on Twitter Tuesday. Send in your questions right now using the hashtag BucksTuesday. Anything on your mind, anything you might want answered, please do it. We'll sit him down on the Pirates pregame show at 6:30, and then he'll be taking your questions throughout the ballgame. So Tyler Glasnow, the latest and greatest guest on our feature once a week, Twitter Tuesday. Again, hashtag BucksTuesday. Send them away starting right now. Joe Block?
That'll be fun. One of the many who have made their major league debuts this season, and as soon as the pinch hitter was announced, Craig Counsell is going to pull Torres from the ball game here, waiting for Max Moroff to be introduced as the pinch hitter. He's officially a big leaguer as soon as that introduction came, and they're going to bring on the lefty Will Smith to face the switch hitter.
Telecast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Max Moroff making his major league debut. Just called up today here in this 4-2 ball game in the 8th. Batting for Nicasio to lead off. And he'll face Will Smith instead for his first chance as a big leaguer. Out of Winter Park, Florida, near Orlando.
Veteran Will Smith, 1-3, 386 ERA, 21 innings, 21 strikeouts.
Moroff, who was a 16th round pick of the Pirates 4 years ago, was playing at AAA Indianapolis. Switch hitter. And Clint Hurdle saying they wanted to go with Moroff because he can play all over the infield, and that would enable them to use Adam Frazier earlier in ball games and not having to save Frazier as that utility guy in case. Also said his stay will probably be short. Guessing ahead right now because of Vogelsong due to be activated later this week, and maybe that'll be the stint for Moroff, but he'll get a chance. Clint Hurdle said he's liked him. Prepares well. Hit only .229 at Indy. A strikeout victim to start the 8th.
Off of that breaking ball. Moroff out in front of it. You see the curveball breaking down and out of the zone, well inside.
So he's in the big leagues. Always in that baseball encyclopedia forevermore. Max Moroff. Now Sean Rodriguez pinch hitting. Pirates have a 6-man bench today, which you don't see very often these days. Still with the 7-man bullpen. That's what you get when you shuffle all the starters. Stephen Brault optioned today. Now 2-1 on Rodriguez. Sean hitting at 167 in July. He's had a brief hot spell. Now 3-1.
That's that borderline pitch. It's been called a strike often so far this afternoon. But he has done such a great job, though, Sean Rodriguez. The clutch hits the power. You see that pitch well off the plate. And catches the edge.
Full on Rodriguez. Pirates get a man on. They bring the tying run up here in the 8th. They have not even been tied at the end of an inning in this series. They've trailed throughout. And Rodriguez gets aboard. 20th walk of the season. And Polanco, who has already homered today, he homered yesterday, will now come up as the tying run. That's the Pirates' first base runner off of the Brewers bullpen. And that home run that Polanco hit yesterday came off Will Smith. Only the third that Smith has allowed this season. Polanco doing it against left-handed pitching just fine. And going back to last night.
Look at the location, that breaking ball. Anytime you leave a breaking ball up around the belt, good chance it's going to be hit hard. And Polanco took advantage of that mistake.
Maybe he'll get another. Pulled off again and 2 strikes. Well placed by Smith again.
Both those breaking balls, that's where you want to keep it, down on the way to the lefty. The first one was out of the zone, the second one out of the zone.
Into the shift. That's the third baseman Perez that turned that. That was nifty. A 6-5-3 double play. And what started to look promising ends 1-2-3 for the Pirates in the 8th inning. It's been all Brewers this series. And Polanco out by that much. Pirates open up a 3-game series against the Braves in the final trip to Turner Field, and our coverage from Atlanta starts at 6:30 with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason right here on Root Sports. Can't believe they're already shutting down Turner Field. Yep. Sean Rodriguez stays in the game to play first base. That is a familiar face over there at first, late in the ball game. And a new face, Felipe Rivero.
Number 73 with a 4.53 ERA. Hard throwing lefty. 49 2/3 innings, 53 punch outs, 15 walks. Holding the opponents to a 2.36 average.
Just like you said it. Trying to save him for that 2 out of 3 lefties. Jeanette, a lefty, with then Maldonado and then Nieuwenhuis to follow. Another left-handed batter. Oof. Well, that gets on you quick.
Yep.
That was an easy 96 from the left side. Second-year man, was with the Nationals.
Sometimes up there as a hitter, whether a guy has a real good fastball or a good breaking ball or something, as a hitter, you have to share with the catcher. Like, my gosh, how are you supposed to hit that? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's also we'll throw to righties a nice changeup that looking forward to seeing. We've seen him a couple times with Washington. There's the off-speed pitch. Rivero is one of 3 pitchers this season who are left-handed who have thrown a pitch 100 miles an hour. He's thrown 1. And he's not going to live there, but if he needs it, he can summon it. James Paxton of the Mariners, who we just saw. And of course, Aroldis Chapman does it with regularity. And we're told that Josh Harrison leaving the game with right leg discomfort.
I think he was predetermined to swing at that one. That one almost hit him up and in. Somehow he got a piece of it.
Two from Rivero. He's actually had reverse splits this year, meaning a lefty usually gets lefties out a little bit better than right-handers, but lefties have actually hit him quite well this year, whereas last year it was a very even split. 344, and the changeup really neutralizing the righties.
Jeanette wasting a slider down the zone.
Yeah, more you see that for the career there. It evens out quite a bit, as the splits were pretty even last year. Limited lefty power very well a year ago. This year that's changed a bit.
Well, there's the good slider there. That was a big one. Much more break. Took a little off it. We saw some sliders in the high 80s, low 90s. And this one at 84, he just took a little off it. That thing started down the middle and broke well off the plate. That was a little unfair.
Yeah, very promising. Rivero, that's why they went and got him. Clint Hurdle says he'll pitch the 7th when the Pirates have a lead.
And, you know, he kind of fits in with the bullpen that Clint Hurdle likes. He doesn't like to have these so much situational guys. He likes to have righties and lefties that can get out both righties and lefties.
Peppering the strike zone with 98. Tony Watson's going to be the closer now. Rivero just turned 25 earlier this month. Second big league season. Had a sub-3 ERA last year with the Nats, and then this year, you know, you gave the numbers 4.5. You say, well, what's special about that? He had one outing where he gave up 5 earned runs and didn't retire a batter. So that raised his ERA by almost a full run. Speed that time, and 3-1. Pleiades Rojas, part of the new bearded coaching gang. I think they all look very distinguished. Ray Searage has grown one. Andrade, there he is. He's got one. I think his looks the best.
have to say, though, it does make them look a little older. The graybeards, Herbie and Yuki.
Now they're coaches, right? You got to almost think of them maybe wearing a tweed jacket, maybe carrying a pipe, scholarly books behind them, maybe a mahogany cabinet.
They both look like the most interesting men in the bullpen. As does Ray.
Left it up, and a base hit from Maldonado. He's gotten 2 singles and a walk today. And we got an update on Josh Harrison, who left the ballgame in the 6th inning today, and fielding first base on a sacrifice bunt try, and Keon Broxton colliding with him, leaving the game with right leg discomfort. He is day to day, and Broxton is on deck. So Adam Frazier came in the ball game to replace him. Another lefty, Kirk Neuenhuis. Well, Jonathan Lucroy might grab a bat if it gets to the pitcher's spot here in the 8th. He has not started yesterday, did not start today, maybe telling that the Brewers at least don't have any active trade talks at the moment. And now, with the benefit of hindsight, Brewers general manager David Stearns, we're hypothesizing here, but probably said, hey, Craig Counsell, why don't you keep Lucroy on the bench? We've got some stuff heating up. Yesterday, and they did. They had a deal worked out with Cleveland, but Lucroy with some limited, no trade protection, said no dice. Very team-friendly deal, and a very well-liked player here in Milwaukee, respected by teammates and the fans alike. But the Brewers trying to look ahead for a couple of years here. The only Brewers signed really long-term is Ryan Braun.
Well, he's one of the best behind the plate.
Banged
Total
up last
package.
year. Yeah, banged up last year. And Rivero leading the strikeout. So a couple of Ks in Rivero's Pirates debut. Keep an eye on that on-deck circle. Yeah, people like to see that number 20. Oh, look at this.
Pretty similar pitch to the one that Scooter Gennett swung and missed leading off this 8th.
Might that be the last time you see Lucroy in a Brewers uniform? I don't know. Keon Broxton been in there against his old club. Couple of hits yesterday, got on base 3 times in the series opener, homered today. Came in hitting at 135 in his limited time with the Brewers. Two 2-0 after that changeup missed. Rivera out of San Felipe in Venezuela. Looking forward to chatting with him more. I wonder if his name has any bearing on when where he was born.
Perhaps.
Actually, originally signed by the Rays. Pirates hoping we don't see Lucroy here in this inning with 2 outs. Way outside that time. Overthrew it. 3-1. A lot of run on that fastball. You're hearing some Luke.
Yeah, they're hoping.
And they're going to get to see him. Searage is going to come out for a mound chat here. And knowing Craig Counsell, who played with Lucroy on that division-winning Brewers team in 2011, I think he wanted, in case he does get traded before tomorrow, wanted to give him a proper send-off. Sure.
Who knows? You never know. He may still be in a Brewers uniform throughout the rest of the season.
Having that fine year. And a key part in this ball game, a 2-run deficit in the 9th. You get a man on, you bring the tying run up. If it gets any more than that, it gets tough. One from Rivero. Good job in clutch situations. Just missed inside. 2-0 on Lucroy. Came up through the Brewers system. Rivero was a Ray, then a National, and now for the first time today a Pirate. 2 on, 2 out, and the 2-0.
Such a nice weapon to have, though, when you have 95, 96, 97, to where when you do fall behind in the count, you don't have to be perfect with it. You just fire it in there. Very late swing, even though Lucroy knew he was getting a fastball on that 2-0 count, still couldn't catch up.
Maldonado at second, the speedy Broxton at first. This one fouled off. And the Pirates have collected 14 strikeouts of Brewer batters today, but the Brewers have led in every inning of this series. Two from Rivero. Lucroy's not going to chase very often.
And here's where you wonder. I mean, you're 3-2. You got the big fastball, but he also has that good changeup you talked about, and he has confidence in it. Does he have enough confidence to throw it here for a strike, or does he just try to power it by Lucroy? Tries to power it by him, but another fastball wasted.
Maybe now he tries it. That's a great point. I'm curious to know, is that a weapon in a key situation for him? Or can hitters sit fastball?
Yeah.
which still isn't easy to do because it is a better fastball. We'll see. Another 3-2. Popped him up. Polanco gets the final out. He did throw him another fastball. And Rivero, after a 30-pitch inning, strands a pair of Brewers. Been all Brewers in this series. They've led after every inning all weekend long. Pirates have a chance to change it in the ninth. Felipe Rivero talking with, in comparison, the Pirates veteran Eric Fryer about that last inning. McCutchen, Marte, Freese coming up for the Buccos in the ninth against Jeremy Jeffers.
Jeffers, 47th appearance, 2-2 the record. Opponents hit .262 against him. The ERA at 2.27. Looking to pick up his 27th save.
Trying to save every game of this series. Needed him for an out on Friday. One pitch. Pirates touched him for a run last night. A foul ball. McCutchen has struck out all 3 times today. 0 for 11 in the series. Need to get something going. Just 4 hits today. Polanco's home run back in the 3rd, a bright spot. Pirates have sorely needed that. There's the first hit of the series from McCutchen, their 5th hit of the day. And because Rivero and Nicasio getting out of trouble earlier in these later innings, it stays a 2-run game. Now you can bring the tying run to the plate.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Keep battling, get runners out there.
Marte 1 out of 3. He's singled back in the 4th. He's had 5 hits in this weekend set. fair ball, and Perez handled that nicely. Trying to avoid that in between hop.
If that was a 2-strike pitch, then maybe there's some stress. But Perez, with being the first pitch of the at bat, was playing in a bit, so he gets to it much quicker. With 2 strikes, you back off because you never know if Marte might drop down and bunt. He'll still do it on occasion. So Perez was cheating in a little bit, which made it a lot easier.
David Freese now the tying run with McCutchen standing at second. Freese singled back in the second.
95 with movement. That good 2-seam fastball running in on David.
David Freese has had the knack throughout his career for that big hit. Pirates down a deuce in the 9th. Lucroy appeared in this game as a pinch hitter. Trade winds not blowing through Milwaukee at the moment. Garrett Cole will make the next start. Set to go on Tuesday against the Braves. Still have Matt Joyce in reserve. Just threw it by him. Hey, Jeffress has been one of the better closers in the National League this season.
96 with movement is not easy to hit. And again, it's running down and in. David Freese swings over it.
It's all up to Adam Frazier. And that pinch hit, go ahead home run last Sunday at PNC Park. Can he keep this one going here in the 9th? McCutchen with the leadoff single at second. Deion Broxton, the one-time Pirate, home ring today. Chris Carter also going deep. Liriano gave up 4 runs in 5 innings. Nicasio and Rivero keeping the Brewers off the scoreboard, but the bats quieted. Down to their final strike. To Milwaukee in the 9th. Frazier is the tying run. He went. Mike Winters rings him up, and the Brewers sweep the Pirates. The Brewers leading after every inning of the series, and the Pirates drop their 9th straight game here at Miller Park.
Frustrating, really is frustrating. You come in here, and again, the Brewers with the Pirates number. 3 straight sweeps at Miller Park, and without Lucroy for 2 of the last 3 games. You had no Ryan Braun the entire series. You faced the last 2 pitchers, the last 2 starters for the Brewers with ERAs over 5, and just couldn't muster up enough offense. And the Brewers have gotten the big hits and have gotten great performances from their guys in the bullpen.
And they got a couple of quality starts from the starting pitchers in the series too, but not enough as the